Okay, facilities, location, and layout. Economies and diseconomies of scale. Economies of scale are when you are able to realize cost savings in production based on the amount of output. So if you are able to increase production by a certain amount, you are able to the contribution margin would be realized. In other words, instead of producing only 1,000 widgets, you are able to produce 1,200 widgets. Those additional 200 widgets would be more profit for your company, and the contribution margin would be greater for each of those. So the economies of scale, you want to take advantage of that. The diseconomies of scale, that refers to at some point in your production, when you add one more unit of production, it's going to take away a certain percentage of your profits per unit. In other words, your factories are going to be overproducing. Your people are going to be bumping into each other. You're not going to be able to produce as efficiently as if you had one less unit of production. So that's called diseconomies of scale. At that point, you would need to build capacity, maybe build a bigger factory or get a new machine or whatever you need to do to increase your capacity. Working with third-party logistics companies is a great way to work on your logistics costs. There are a lot of them out there, and you are able to really realize some cost savings if you don't have to worry about transporting your products yourself. This is especially true for global business, because if you're going to be producing abroad or if you're going to be selling abroad, you need to make sure that you have your channels set up so that your products get there as efficiently as possible, and intact. You don't want to have any kind of problems in your transportation. So third-party logistics are a great way to handle that. And some of the companies will even handle, if you need a warehouse, they can handle warehousing. So it incorporates an element of flexibility in your system. So it's a great tool. OEMs, suppliers, and customers, how best to sync your distribution channel and production. What you want to do is you want to have everything going at the same pace. Again, if you're using a theory of constraints and you have your constraints set up, you want everything else to be synced off with that. You want your distribution to go out along with that. You want your customers to be buying at that rate. If your customers are buying less, you need to slow your production down. If your customers are buying more, you need to find another constraint, so that you can, again, go back to that and figure out how that you can get more production out of your system. Maybe if you have a constraining device, a bottleneck, it's only working 8 hours, kick that up to as high as it can go. Make it run 24 hours a day. That way your production will be consistent with that, and you will be able to realize more sales and more profits. So how do you sync your distribution channel and your production? So that's my presentation for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. This was session 5 on manufacturing and logistics. Next week is session 6, which will be the last week, and we will talk about human resources and labor. And we will be wrapping things up in a nice tight bow, and hopefully you will visualize and realize success in your global ventures. So that's it for me today. If you have any questions, you can email me, Lukas, Lukas, @globalcapiche.com. Check out the website. I also have my podcast there, the podcast versions of these videos, and the slides are all posted on there. So that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you. See you again.